Hello and welcome to another episode of Alan Writes. This will be well, I just popped into my head and I've got to do it. That's the way sometimes things are. It's the start of a new series and I've got to get it going. This is Star Wars fanfic. Something, something, Hoth, something. Sound good? Awesome. We'll just put that in the title here. So, this popped into my head as I was waking up, and I've got to write it down. So, Finara, how was I going to start that? Finara loved coming in early to work on the designs. The designs for the Empire's fighting vehicles. Merely to work on the designs for the Empire's fighting vehicles. Ever since she had been a small child. God, that's very cliche. I mean, it fits with the Star Wars motif, but, you know, you've got to... Currently, it was the updated all-terrain armored transport that had her, was the update to, that had her attention. A rush project. Highest level. A rush project, highest level. And though not any more secret than her other projects, had been, still exhilarating to hear that sort of request. And so she poured herself a morning, that's not how you spell morning calf, and then powered up her workstation. The schematics for the winterized, for the cold adapted ADAT popped up immediately. Apparently she had forgotten to shut it down last night. Well, that wasn't exactly a security issue. The banks here were standalone for good reason. I'm tempted to set it somewhere interesting, like Scarif or what have you, but I don't know right now where we are. We are simply somewhere in the Star Wars universe, and we're with an engineer whose job is to make these instruments of war, or actually update them, what have you. Here we're standalone for good reason. No nasty rebel spy could slice this terminal without being here. Okay. She sipped and savored the smell, the silence and the image before her was a beast of a machine. It was a beast of a machine. For a hulking brute whose armor was the thickest she could apply. Thick all over, even the legs. Even the legs were blaster-proof. And that had taken some doing. Inside the hull were an entire platoon of stormtroopers, shielded from the worst of the battle until the time came to deploy. That was a lesson learned early during the Clone Wars. And now, yeah, I'm doing a lot of name dropping, but during the Clone Wars, when the clone troopers, the forerunners of the storm troopers, of the much better named stormtroopers, were cut down in droves when leaving their vehicles, or when they were attacked on board their vehicles, shot down, blown up, crashed, you name it, it happened. But now, there's a safer alternative. Her alternative. At least there should be. Combat with ATs. Design was invariably limited. No one wanted to fight them, except idiot species on the rim, who all too often hucked spears in the hopes of somehow penetrating blastium. The lights went on in other workstations. Unlike a typical cube setup, everyone here had privacy doors and sound dampers if they wanted. Most engineers needed that. The real impediment to creation and to design was often other people needing your time. And that's true with writing too. If you're a writer, you'll find that often you'll start on something and then you'll get interrupted by who? People. What was the one with the? It was an amazing piece, a piece of poetry that had started because the guy was on a laudanum high, and it was I can't remember it off the top of my head. Anyway, it was an immense piece of writing that was interrupted by a door-to-door salesman, and that he lost the train of thought and never got it back, and so the poem is essentially unfinished to this day. I'll have to look that up later. Not looking it up now, not while I'm recording. So that's also true for a lot of the things that I could look up later for, like what company in the fictional Star Wars universe designed the AT-AT Walker and its various iterations. And we go from there. But it wouldn't be Star Wars if we focused on those details quite so intently. Obviously, we're going to have to get Finara out of the office somehow. Otherwise, I'm perfectly capable of doing an office drama like The Office, in fact, if we wanted to just focus in on this. And in fact, that would probably be a hilarious series for television, where you've got the Star Wars universe, but you've reduced it to the office setting, and only the occasional intrusion of the sci-fi swirling epic would intrude. But here we go. As if hearing her thoughts, she got a chime from her boss. Should have shut that off, she thought. But now I can't ignore it. Her slowly cooling calf down. On the far corner of her station, far from intruding elbows, from any intruding elbows. And pushed away her chair. Let's give her a straight-backed. Relishing the relief from the... No, she hasn't been here that long. What kind of chair does she have? This will be part of her personality. If it's obviously plush, then she's somebody who's I like the straight back chair, where it's the only one of its kind in the building. Because who would want like that when you could have a floater, have a hover chair, or just a sinking delight. But those were for people who wanted luxury while they worked. She wanted to feel the strain, to remember the reason she was working on her designs. save lives. Stormtroopers, Imperial soldiers, Navy personnel, and the civilians, they all fought to protect from the nefarious forces that eternally beset the Empire. It was her job to keep them as safe as possible so that they could do just that. Now she has to have a personal stake in this. Hoth didn't take place too long after Yavin, but I don't feel like doing that. Now, if we want to do a Scarif reference, her father had been one of those men killed at Scarif by the rebellion. Oh, no. It has to pre-stage that. Let's give her a connection. Well, do we give her a connection to the Jedi? Her father slain by the Separatists. Okay, let's go farther back. Killed by the Separatists. The first rebellion at place name. I don't know. It'll come up later. The chimes sounded again. Well, so much for nerf gathering. Well, so much for nerf gathering. She's in her back and strode out of her workstation. The main corridor was filling up. People, fellow engineers, technicians, and their managers. That is almost certainly not how you spell technicians. Why won't you give me it on a spell check? I apparently boggled it. It didn't know what word I was looking for, so it's like, I don't care. Move on, man. And their managers, filling up, and their managers are all darting about. She heard the words ground engagement, ice world, ground engagement, and ice world. Which made her, which almost her boss. Okay, so who's her boss? Who's her boss? Because of the way the Empire is set up, it's almost always male. That's one of the things. It's that's just simply the way that the empire is run. It's run by men, but it's I've chosen a female character to give her a juxtaposition on that, and to make it more difficult for her to do just about anything. I'm still not sure where this is going after all, but it's going to be going. Her boss, Telek. Fine, it's a placeholder name. Telek Jabor. Not Gam Jabbar. Jabor. Our boss, Telek Jabor. Rank 5 Strader. Was busy smoothing down his white uniform. White naval uniform. As he scanned the gridded battle report that flashed across a wide screen. Can I have it scroll? That wandered across it. Yeah, you can't have it scroll. I'd rather not say scroll. This is all supposed to be high tech in a galaxy far, far away, etc., etc., etc. A long time ago, too. And they don't use paper. It's important. They don't use paper. Rank 5 administrator. Wandered across a wide screen. He barely seemed to... He didn't notice her arrive, though as his hand drifted down to the summoning chime, she cleared her throat. He turned, eyes wide from reading, and then gave a little cough of amusement. Ah, Benara. Glad you made it. Were you involved? Not deep, she replied, as she hadn't been. No, he'd just been, you've just been demanding. Good. He replied and motioned toward the screen. We've just gotten the first batch of battle reports, field reports. The cold adapted Ada just fought and won a battle on Hoth. Never heard of it. Hoth, she said as she maneuvered around to watch the report continue, since he hadn't stopped it. Privilege is of management. The privileges of management for many. Hadn't bothered to stop it. The privileges of management were many and included wasting time. Cold enough during the day. Cold enough during the day. Nights must be, possibly. Telek replied, "We'll know more soon. We'll know more soon. Right now, I wanted to tell you personally that the upgraded armor worked well." How well? The attack fought was a resounding victory. It is a good chance we'll all get quite the bonus, he said. And moved his fingers to the screen. He finally stopped the flow of info. And then pulled up a separate file. Moreover, we have a report from the usual source concerning the battlefield effectiveness of the Blizzard Force adept. He tapped a file. The crackle of do they use radios? Of the comm and open comm. Crackle of an open comm filled the air. The distant hum of a speeder. Muffled and raw. The crackle of an open comm. Followed. She heard a voice. Worried and call out in rushed combat tones. That armor's too thick for blasters. She laughed. A rebel was complimenting her design. There was no greater delight. Telek joined her in the moment. Joined her in the moment. Oh, how reassuring it was to the comm We'll have to set harpoons, tow cables. We'll have to set... Alright. Stabbed a finger down to halt the... Too late. She'd heard it. What was that? Phenomenist. That? Well, that will likely be someone else's problem. That will likely be someone else's problem. We're armor, not legs. What happened? Pressed. Harpoons? Tow cables? What the frack is going on? What the heck was going on? Telexide. I should have had my keyboard down this entire time to mute the sound from all of you, because that's it's less intrusive. Telexide. Several AT-ATs were lost. We're looking into that. As I said, these are preliminary reports. These are preliminary reports. These are preliminary reports. It's just, I wanted you to hear how effective. She stopped listening. All she think about was what the rebels were trying to do. What they had done. ATs had been lost, and she had failed. Alright, we're going to leave it off there. We're also going to move to, she's our primary character, and I think she's going to be our sole character. We're going to see the entire bit of fan fiction through their eyes. Where would we go from here? To be honest, I think she's going to hear a lot of different things on, some of the reports are going to be restricted, because while she can get reports on, like, the rebels hitting the AT-ATs in exactly the wrong place, in the neck design at a 45-degree angle, you know, where they'd have to be diving on their strafing or what have you, they, I should put that in. But we only have the preliminary reports. We'll have to do, it's going to be a group meeting. The whole team gets reports on rebel attack, hitting the neck at a elevated angle, dive, approach only, and at a distance that would preclude them pulling out. That would preclude them pulling out. So there we go. Also, one blown up by ground forces. How? That's restricted. It's restricted. Blown hatch. grenade. How? A plasma torch? Up there? And this is obviously Luke Skywalker's nailing an AT-AT by basically harpooning up to the belly, slashing it open with his lightsaber, and throwing a grenade in. Restricted because lightsaber. Well, if she, she can at least strengthen the hatch if she has the data. So, can't get it. So she'll try to go to Hoth. She'll succeed, because I want it to go interesting places. Like I said, this can't be an office drama. I mean, it can be, but I don't want it to be. Star Wars is about going to amazing places and meeting people. She'll succeed. Go to Hoth. Tracking down last... there's going to be some rebels who are down there. There's some history there I'm going to have to look into. How long did the fighting on Hoth take place with remote forces, etc., etc.? Not everyone was able to leave. Snow beasts. Romance with... if we make this a romance, then we have to have romantic partners, whether it's a stormtrooper, army officer, or this is better. It's an imperial an imperial representative who's put on site to monitor things for a time, and she can try to. It's another romance. Wow. Romances are popular, and this is Star Wars, so there's got to be an element of romance. There's also got to be an element of adventure. Adventure, though, on Hoth. So, Hoth something, something, something. A white winter on Hoth. Maybe. That might be a title. But that's enough for today's episode of Alan Writes. This, like I said, this is the start of a new effort, and it's fanfic. Yay! Who doesn't like fanfic? If I really wanted to port this over to a different genre, that's entirely possible. It would still have traces of the old one, but who cares? You can do that. You have to simply change the names and some of the background and make it interesting, and you can move it over. It's a time-tested tool. Just look at the success of Twilight, for example. And there you are. But I hope you've enjoyed this little exploration in creativity and writing. I've been your host, Alan. If I've not been your host, Alan, then I've been somebody else. I hope you have a good day and stay safe out there. Thanks.